First guy we're going to look at is going to be the running back position. And there are a couple of running backs on this roster. It's going to be a hell of a roster battle for both that third and fourth role. I think McIntosh probably has number 3 locked on up. But that fourth running back role, an NFL roster, you're going to hold 4 running backs at any one given time. Maybe 5, but really more often than not, it's 3 tight ends to the 4 running backs. That's kind of the way the offsuit works on that. So 4 running backs, you've got your first 2 set. You've got McIntosh probably locked in. I think this next guy is going to be the guy to really snatch, unless that kid out of the UFL that they went out there and got, who's just a kind of a different runner altogether from this guy. But this guy, I think, is really going to go out there and snatch that 4th running back role. He's a very complete running back. He gives you a variety of different skills in his bag. And I'm talking about Mr. George Holani out of Boise State, a guy that's played a lot of college football. There is some injuries that have popped up with him in his career, but as you can see here over my shoulder, ran for almost 3,000 yards in his 5-year career. Very productive player. It's really, as much as anything, I think if you're talking about why he dropped out of the draft, is the injuries were just enough to push a guy that might be a 5th, 6th, 7th round guy off the draft boards. Where, okay, he'd be drafted if he had a clean bill of health, but we're not so sure there's a clean bill of health. Of course, here you're risking nothing by taking that jump into the deep waters on this one. And Holani is a very good player. He is a back with a lot of different things that he can do, as I'm going to show you guys here. And like we've been doing here a little bit throughout the offseason recently, we're going to go through some cut-ups. We're going to talk about this guy. We're going to discuss what he does bring to play here on this team, kind of the variety of skills he sort of brings to play. Now, one thing that jumps out when you first are going to turn on the tape with Holani is that you've got a little bit of speed. You've got an ability to find a home run. You know, he's going to be a guy that is if there's a nice hold there, he can certainly bust it. Wrong one there. Wrong one. Might get my cuts right. So right here, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things he does. Change of direction, ability to use his vision in the open field, keep his feet, balance. I want to show this first run because of that. There's all these little things you're going to see over the course of these highlights I'm going to show you. First, change of direction. Full speed change of direction. Can you bounce full speed? You see here, he twists that whole defender all around. The other thing I want you to notice is this, right? Bang, there. He's got a strange innate ability to get off ankle tackles, where he can feel the feet. See how he kind of jumps his feet off when it goes down to his feet? He shoots his feet up just as he feels it coming there, so the guy can't take his feet out from underneath him. He's got that ability as well. You see it again here. See how he just rolls with the ankle tackle? Rolls with the ankle tackle. That's that balance, but it's also specifically, it's not just the balance, it's also just his feel for when guys are diving at his ankles to keep his feet up. You used to always see back in the day when I was growing up in the 80s, they'd show you the Walter Payton highlights and Walter's custom move, kind of like Dion when he'd do his hand behind his back and kick out his legs. Walter's custom move when he'd get down the end zone, when he'd busted a big run, is he'd be kicking his legs out. He'd give you sort of the high knees kind of thing. And it's a little technique running backs can use to, of course, get out of those ankle tackles. But you got the speed, you got the change of direction, you got the ability to get out of those ankle tackles, break tackles, balance, everything there on that kind of first run to give you a bit of an idea of what you're getting with him. Again, change of direction, boom, boom, 2 change direction, open field, a little bit of burst. He's not a full 4-4 guy in the open field. You know, he's probably a 4-5-5-ish kind of guy, but he does have the burst. So he's got the ability in a 5-yard area especially to get up and get away from defenders. That stands out. And again, he's going to finish every run, runs really hard. I would never want to put any kind of like Chris Carson sort of comparisons to this kid, but you can see how he just takes the physicality of that player right there. Much like Chris would do, this kid will do in the same way. He doesn't have the same kind of acme weight in his shorts that sort of Carson could, you know, where he could run with that just really, really, really nice power and legit 220, 225. He's probably more like 210, 215-ish at his heaviest. But again, open field, can he run away from guys? Can he get up and go? Does he got the burst you look for almost at the first and foremost? The burst right here. You're going through the hole. You've got 2 defenders right there closing. Do you have the burst to get through that hole? Or are you going to be just slow enough to where they can catch up to you? And you see neither of these two guys are able to get a hand on him. Bad angles tackle, taken. Another home run on this play. But that burst, even more than the speed, what stands out when you look at Holani. Catching the ball. He's going to be a complete player. He's going to be able to provide you an ability to use this element into his game. And if you need him to become a third down back, he can become a third down back. Over and over on his tape, highlights, or if you go watch the game film, you see they're using him as part of the passing attack. Again, here you get the balance. There's real no angle here after he makes the catch to even get this in. Look where he's at, the 10-yard line. He's got about a yard and a half space. Look where that defender is. And the fact that he's able to punch this in gets the guy to break down and gets right past him after the catch. But he's got some good hands. The kid actually can catch, so he could become potentially a third down back if you need him to fit into that role at some point. Part of what might even give him a little bit of a, and look at the fearlessness here. It's that just a little bit of the Carson kind of vibes. Just, I don't care in the open field. I'll throw my body around wantonly. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get an extra 3 yards. It's not always for a big play, just to get a couple extra. Hey, he's trying to get the first. What are you going to do? Some more catches here. Send him out in the flat. Get him up the field. Touchdown. Easy. Nothing fancy here. Just a broken play by the defense. But you're in the snow. We all know it's never easy to catch in the snow. Another play here. Out in the flat. Take it. Change of direction. Ankle tackle's not going to work with him. You better wrap up. Love this about these highlights is I try to, with these pick these, is that they give you a flavor of a couple things he can do. First thing he can do, defender's coming up. Look at that. You got two guys right there. There's no way you should be breaking that tackle, right? They should be able to corral him right up. Oop. See ya. See ya. And he just can do that thing where he can use that defender's leverage against him. See how he almost kind of uses the leverage of the defender. The leverage is wrapping, and he's using the leverage to help kind of spin him back to the left and make this cut just a little bit tighter. Nice little run by Holani there. Play action, another throw to the flat. Change of direction again. He can stop on a dime, burst, and change of direction. Not as much open field speed, not as much size. Change of direction, burst. Two things that sit at the forefront with him. One more here, catch here. Nothing fancy, a little screenplay. Retreat a little bit to get a little bit of space. Shed some tackles. What a run. What a run. Whew. That was nice. Look at that. The first subtle thing is on a screenplay, watch how he comes back to the ball. He feels the defender behind him. The defender's right there, so I got to come back. He feels 93 closing in. Come back a little bit, retreat. Retreat just a little bit to then get back up the field. Break that tackle, break that. He broke 93 twice. Look at this. He got 93 twice. Got him once here. And then he gets him again right here. This ain't going to be 93's best tape on this one. You had 2 shots at him? I just hear the coach. 2 shots? It's like, Bill was on your right. Bill was on your right. You had help. Force him inside. Don't give him that shoulder. That's just a great run by Holani, though. So you're seeing these things he can bring. I mentioned Chris Carson. I'd call this kind of some kind of Chris Carson cut-ups that I got here of him that look kind of Carson to me. I don't know if you guys will feel the same. I'll be interested to hear you guys' feedback on this one. But I get some Carson vibes off this kind of run. I'm never going to go down easy. I'm never going to die easy, as Marshawn Lynch would say. His coach used to tell him, never die easy. Fight for every last yard. Keep those legs churning. Surprising power for his size. Kind of Carsonist. Carsonist. He's a Carsonist. I just coined that, and that's going on a shirt. Again, kind of a Carson run here when I watched this. This was the vibes I was getting. Right there. I mean, remember when we'd have Carson, he'd get hit right there on that shoulder low. He'd go down and meet the guy's shoulder low. Legs then just keep driving through. something just, it's a little, it's not full on. I'm making the comp. I ain't making the Carson. He's not got the size. He doesn't got enough engine in there to get that quite done from that standpoint. But just that, out of backs here, just going to slide this off and close this run down. He's going to keep it going, lower his shoulder, and try to keep those, always falling forward, always getting a couple extra yards. Another Carsonist run here. Carsonist run. Just not going down, not looking for the place where he can find a soft landing. Changing direction, fighting. Behind his pads, running low. Really like Holani's tape. The injury stuff's a little bit of a concern, but the tape is very nice. I certainly think he's a draftable grade guy, if not for the injury aspect. Here, just the burst you feel here. Not messing around off the snap, not playing around, gets downhill quick, finds his hole, spins off contact. First guy's rarely going to break him down if he gets is going to bring him down if he's in the open field, that is. You get him around the line of scrimmage, you can kind of get your hands around him and bring him down, but you can see this isn't just to show off a little bit of that burst, and again, that Carson kind of finish. You're never going to get me down easy. Change of direction. Big part of this guy's game. First, change of direction. Gets penetration in the backfield. Has another guy to tackle him down here. First, look at this here. Dead to rights. Dead to rights right there. Penetration allowed by the lineman. He's kind of toast. Uses a little sort of hop, a little jump. See how he engages the little jump step there? Boom. Jumps past. That'd be good enough right there, right? Already a good run right there as it is. But then works his way back into his block. See this? See the leg go out, bang, and then look at 67. He's working his way back in the block. The block comes back here and helps him out. Very creative. Use your blockers. Very good usage of vision here too in the open field. Creative. Fun. Another carry inside here. Change of direction. Oop. Finally get him down. It's a play. This is supposed to be an inside zone run. The hole's opening up, though, to the left side to the top. He's got that defender to his right that he can feel. Two defenders near him. That burst I mentioned to you guys, where he can get to that burst and engage that in order for him to allow where he's got defenders close to him, but he can get away from them in short spaces. Little runs here. A little bit of power from Holani as well. A little bit after this catch. First guide, no. A little bit of what you want to watch with him being a guide. Not the biggest guy is can he fight through the first tackle? Can he get through that? Can he tear through that? Sometimes he can on tape. If you get him around the line of scrimmage, you're going to bring him down fairly. You can bring him down fairly easily. But if he gets up to speed, if he gets out in space, it's a different story. Again, just head down, lowers his head. Part of the reason he's been injured a little bit much is he's definitely going to be violent in his running style. And this is just another nice run here where, again, vision, balance, change of direction. I mean, he's in the hole here with 96 on his back. 96 is on his back right here. Slides right off of him. And then look at the acceleration to get past the next defender. And then just the dive just to style on him at the end. That's just a swag move right there. That's all that is. He didn't even have to do that. That was just to give some style points. But 96 block is blown, got him in the hole. That's a 320-pound man on his back trying to pull him down. Slides off like he's greased up. So a little bit of power, a little bit of strength to him. You wouldn't necessarily think that with them looking at him at first, that he's maybe just a finesse back, just going to dance around and kind of run around a little bit. But even here, how low he gets here. Taking that guy on, head up. That's a much bigger defender coming downhill there. I think that guy probably outweighs him by 15 pounds. Boom. Still gets through it, keeps his feet, gets a couple extra. That's just that little bit of that Carson thing. Showed a touchdown a second ago on this kind of same side of the field he was running. You had 2 downs here where they had to get it in. Takes the first carry. Again, penetration in the backfield. Able to get away from the penetration with 94 on him there. 94 just shoots the gap and rips 71 back. Okay, now you got two defenders. After you gotten away from that trouble, you got two defenders a yard and a half away from you now. Manages to engage the acceleration, get off the ankle black. Remember the ankle tackles I was telling you he can get through. If you try to get down to the ankle, if you're not on the thigh and you end up on the ankle, that's not going to work. You got to be up on the thigh with him because he can get through that. And then almost gets in just a little bit short. So we come back the next play. Can you finish the deal? They know it's coming. You know, look at all those guys at the line of scrimmage. Look at all those guys at the line of scrimmage. There's no pass in here. They know you're not going to pass. You know we're not going to pass. We know we know we're not going to pass. We ain't passing. We're coming downhill. Fullback, old school. That's probably a defensive lineman too at 98 there is the fullback. And he just gets right in. Untouched. Untouched. Nice play. So Holani's a guy that I like a lot for this team. I think that he is going to take this fourth spot because of these skill sets that he has, where this isn't just your typical maybe fourth running back on a roster who, you know, you would look at. And again, here you see the acceleration. There's penetration in the backfield by the defensive tackle, 55, centering your screen. And he just can't catch up to the kid. Able to run away from him in very short space. Got an angle. No, you don't. I think this kid's going to make not only the roster, but I think he's going to slide into being your fourth down back. He'll be sort of your backup. You know, we don't know the pecking order yet, whether it's going to be Charbonnet, McIntosh, or if it's going to be McIntosh, Charbonnet as the third down back. However that goes, you've got then your third guy in there, I think, in what he brings. His ability to catch. He can do a couple of different things for you as far as a running back goes from that position. I think that's going to prove too tantalizing. And I think it was one of our first undrafted rookie free agents that we signed in this kid. So a really, really fun running back that they brought in here. There's an open spot for him to make this roster. As I look through these players, there's only one other guy who I think could come on and maybe have as much actual substantial, I'm not going to call it impact, but substantial helping hand into this next upcoming season. A few of these guys are going to be more long-term guys we're looking down the road on, though they'll either make the roster or make the practice squad. This would be a guy that I would say this guy could make the roster and then he could serve into that fourth role. He could end up getting to the end of the season and we go, wow, we got George Holani 50 carries and he caught 20 other passes out of the backfield over the course of the season. But a really fun back, a lot of things he can do, ability to hit a home run, short spaces, got the burst, balance, can get off the ankle tackles, has some hands out of the backfield. Kind of unusual you'd get this kind of undrafted rookie free agent with kind of this multiple skill set that he does offer, but that injury thing, I think, was the main thing that kept him from being drafted. And then you were able to obviously provide him, I think, the best, softest landing. This is the other part of it, is that he's a good back. And so then you go, well, why aren't other teams wanting this good back? Well, because of the fact that we've got the spot we can offer on that fourth spot in the roster that's wide open for him to go take. He can look around the league and go find the Seattle Seahawks and say, well, they've got their three backs in place. That much is true, but they don't got a fourth. I got my door open there. It's not to make the practice squad, to make the roster. It's right there to be taken. So again, this is a little bit of how did they land him? It was John being done in the 6th round. Probably called George up with one of his first calls. Said, we got a spot for you here, a true fourth spot. You're getting a good talent there, and this is how you did that on that spot. This is how you're able to pick up that guy. You know, just the way it would look to me. Next guy I want to take a look at here